Welcome to Random Vision. This is another one talking about the Middle East uh, and everything that they're going through right now. Let's go ahead and start it. Let's get it.
At the same time, within Israel, there is an extraordinary development. Let's go ahead and put this up there on the screen. There's a new report here from a New Policy, which is an American lobbying organization for U.S. policy towards the Middle East, actually advancing national interests. Here's what they say, quote, sources tell us at a meeting yesterday between U.S. Ambassador Mike Huckabee and Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu devolved into a shouting match over Netanyahu's objections to U.S. plans to evacuate citizens from Israel and the wider region. U.S. officials believe that the Netanyahu objection was predicated on his desire to hold U.S. citizens at risk in order to increase the likelihood of U.S. entry into Israel's conflict with Iran. So let's sit on that for a little bit, shall we? First of all, there are 700,000 Americans, is the current belief, within Israel. 700,000. I believe they have the largest outside American citizen population than Mexico, which tells you quite a bit. However, there is a little bit of a difference, is that many of these people are dual citizens, according to the data that we have, but it also is being used as a pretext for why the United States has such a, quote, obligation to defend Israel. Now, let's just say Mexico. All right, so if Mexico, who do they share a border with? Guatemala? So if Guatemala was bombing Mexico, would we intervene to protect Americans in Mexico? Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think that that logic works all that well. There's a secondary element to this, which is that currently, at least, a lot of these U.S. citizens don't seem to be allowed to leave. You know, we haven't seen yet some of the reports there, and obviously the flight situation there is pretty crazy. But almost every one of the other great powers has told their citizens to evacuate immediately. Yesterday, the Chinese Foreign Ministry issued a statement, said all Chinese citizens should leave Israel immediately. The Russian Foreign Ministry came out and said all Russian citizens should leave immediately. There's actually a huge Russian population in Israel. A lot of people don't know that. But the point is that those countries seem to have the ability to tell their citizens to leave. Right now, I believe we do have travel advisories and all of that, but the question is about their ability to do so. And this pairs, and this is already confirmed, this isn't even based on a report. Put this up there on the screen from Haaretz, which is an Israeli news organization. Israel tells airlines, do not let Israeli citizens leave, even once repatriation flights are able to continue. Quote, estimates suggest rescue flights for Israelis stranded abroad won't begin before Thursday, and even then, only 2 flights per hour will be allowed during daylight. And the plan does not match the scale of the crisis. So, I mean, effectively what you're seeing is that they are locking their people basically in their borders in the same way that Ukraine tried to do so in order to force everybody to fight in the draft. And they're afraid, I guess, of the number of Israelis that do have dual citizenship all around the world who could take advantage of that and say, I'm getting the hell out of here. I don't want to fight in this war.
Yeah.
Or, hide in a bomb shelter every other day. Raises some profound questions about human shields and locking people basically in a death trap and forcing them of their own defeat. I'm not going to deny there's probably a lot of Israelis. I would say the vast majority of Israelis probably support this war based on all the polling that we've seen.
Agreed.
Let's be honest. But there's at least some of them want to leave, and I think that the action by the Israeli government speaks volumes.
Yeah, they don't want. So first of all, to go back to U.S. citizens,
that's the biggest
being
question.
blocked from leaving. We don't know if they were able to actually, convince Huckabee and the U.S. administration of that policy. But what they're saying here, they want to use American citizens as human shields. Like, that is what that means, and they want to use American citizens as pawns in their game to try to force an escalation and force us to come in on their side. I guarantee you, they are praying for the Iranians to hit some U.S. military base and to kill some American service members so that the war fever picks up here in the U.S. and this administration feels even more pressure and is even more likely to directly join the fight on Israel's behalf. That's how sick they are. Like, that's what they're cheering for, which is why you shouldn't put
Like Iraq.
false flag, fake attack past them either, because they've done such things in the past. So, I mean, this is not to be conspiratorial. This is to be a student of history and understand their logic and what they are capable of. You can't put anything past these people at this point. So their stated policy goal, their desire that they're arguing with our completely psycho, by the way, U.S. ambassador to Israel, Mike Huckabee, believes in all this end times nonsense. Their stated policy objective is to trap American citizens in Israel to use them as human shields to try to foment and escalate a further, even larger scale war. That's where we are. And with regard to their own citizens, I think Sagar is exactly right. Number one, they don't want images of thousands or tens of thousands of Israelis fleeing the country. They don't want that.
Yeah.
They also, I think, are concerned because this is a country that, you know, was really overstretched militarily. You know, you've got the Gaza genocide, occupation. You have siege that was implemented in the West Bank and increasingly aggressive actions there. You've had bombing campaigns in